Welcome back. Authorities in Iran were reported to have given the go-ahead this week to execute Sakineh Mohammadi Ashtiani, an Iranian woman whose sentence of death by stoning drew worldwide outrage. French Foreign Minister Bernard Kouchner said in a statement to his Iranian counterpart, who assured him that a verdict in the case concerning Sakineh Ashtiani had not been reached by the Iranian legal authorities and that the information on her alleged execution did not correspond to reality. Human rights groups and various governments, including the Unity Labour Party administration, have urged Iran not to execute Ashtiani. Wednesday, European Union High Representative Catherine Ashton demanded that Iran stop the execution from going ahead and convert her sentence. That's it for our international updates. Our weekly segment Around the World takes us to Nepal with UNICEF TV's Sarah Crow.
I think Republicans were just on the right message for much of the last few months of the campaign. They were relentlessly asking the question, where are the jobs? And with, a year and a half of unemployment over 9%, that was the question that the American public was asking. They really sort of hit this sweet spot, blending a discussion about the economy with a need to repeal the health care bill or at least address it, replace it with something else, and this desire to curb spending that had gotten a lot of voters, particularly independent voters, concerned. At the end of the day, it was those independent voters that broke for Republican candidates and really created this wave, particularly in the House.
Outside of the United States, people look at America and say, how do you explain an opposition to a bill that guarantees health care to most Americans? This is something that is considered a right in European countries. Why are so many Republicans opposed to the health care legislation proposed and passed by Congress that was proposed by the Obama administration?
I think in the U.S. there are both Republicans and Democrats who don't like the status quo. The difference is that Republicans really would love to push more toward a market-based system where you have individuals who can purchase affordable policies that meet their needs. And the Democrats view, involving the government in it as a way to expand healthcare in a more effective way. That's an approach that through the Obama bill, it was this enormous piece of legislation that wound up having an impact on the economy. You saw a lot of companies saying, we're not comfortable hiring, this is going to create a major burden on us. It was just sort of the wrong topic at the wrong time, and it was an approach that didn't go well with the way that independents and Republicans view the role of government. And so in that way, everyone acknowledged that we needed to do something about healthcare. It was just such an approach that was so different from what independent Republican voters wanted, and that's really what created this big issue that started off the Republican wave.
Though you still have 1 out of 2 supporting it, let's talk about the Tea Party. How is the Tea Party going to reshape the Republican Party, if at all?
Well, I think you saw, especially in the Senate races, that the Tea Party was great, except when it wasn't. There were certain candidates that performed very well. You had Marco Rubio, a young Hispanic gentleman from Florida who just did a great job in his Senate race. He was a Tea Party-backed candidate. You saw others in Kentucky and Pennsylvania. But you saw some candidates that just couldn't get across the finish line. The real challenge is going to be, can the Tea Party form a coalition, expand itself beyond just sort of a more narrow ideological appeal, to be able to create majorities where folks like Marco Rubio, Pat Toomey, Rand Paul are able to get elected more broadly in future elections.
All right, well, so that is the question. Now, in the House of Representatives, the Tea Party may have helped the Republicans, but in the Senate, in certain key races, such as in Delaware, Tea Party candidates were seen as too extreme, and that helped the Democratic candidates.
I think in certain cases it wasn't necessarily just an ideological extreme. I think that, with certain candidates, there were just certain candidates had strengths that others may not have, and so, different electorates were more or less accepting. Delaware is not a particularly conservative state. So it's really about finding a candidate that is conservative but is able to put together that coalition that matches the electorate that they're running in. Unfortunately, not all of the Tea Party candidates could make it across that line this time, but I think there have been a lot of lessons learned that will be taken into future cycles so that, hopefully Republican candidates can pick up more seats in the future.
Now here's Al Archer giving us an inside look at the weather.
All right, good evening. We take a look now at our IKTV weather forecast. Currently, a check of our satellite photos are depicting relatively quiet weather across most of the island chain. A lot of clouds, not necessarily a lot of rain. Now, most of the rain is around Tobago late today, and that's really been about it. If you look at the latest forecast models, just so you see a weather pattern, though, that once again features mostly an east to southeasterly wind flow pattern. We have, of course, in the central Caribbean, Tomas likely to strengthen some, becoming a strong tropical storm to the east of Jamaica by tomorrow evening, and then eventually works its way up through the windward passage just west of Haiti on Friday. Likely is either a strong tropical storm or maybe minimal hurricane, probably a strong tropical storm, however, and then eventually emerges with a cold front over the southwest North Atlantic, a little south of Bermuda early next week. As far as our weather is concerned here, it's been more or less a partly cloudy day, and then what we see now is probably what we'll see through the weekend. That is maybe a slightly elevated amount of cloud cover. At the same time, we're going to keep an eye out for widely scattered rain showers trying to develop almost any time of the day or night from the east-southeast at around 15 to 20 miles an hour. Through, once again, Sunday, partly cloudy to cloudy, 30% chance of widely scattered showers in from the east-southeast at any time. Temperatures at night drop off to 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. The highs are at 87 Fahrenheit, 31 Celsius, with a rain forecast through Thursday night. Winds to be coming in here generally out of the east to southeast, 10 to 15 knots, along with seas at 1.5 to 2 meters. Friday and Saturday, winds are out of the east-southeast, 10 to 15 knots at 1.5 to 2 meters. And checking tides here in Kingstown. Starts here with a low at 8:19 tonight, a high at 3:20 in the morning, a low at 11:37 tomorrow morning, a high at 4:08 tomorrow afternoon. I'm meteorologist Ellen Archer with an eyeball to the east-southeast for widely scattered showers here on IKTV. It's all about you.
When we come back, we'll have your sports stories.